Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Thursday, the 16th of May, 2019. Time is 10 a.m. here in the UK. You're looking at a USDCHF daily chart. Today's analysis, we're going to be looking at price action setups across all of these pairs here. We're going to be looking at daily charts down to about the 4-hour charts. See if anything's happening. See if anything good's forming. And we're also going to be covering the setups that I'm in, which I've been in for a while because they just don't really do what I want them to do. I mean, we'll start off with USDCHF. Obviously, this one's in profit and it's going quite nicely, but I do want it to move further down. My original target was here. My original target was met, but I extended that target. The target is now, I don't have an exact number that I can give you guys, but it's around about down here at the support area. So price has been moving sideways for a few days, so it's not really going to that target. But I mean, it's a good trade nonetheless. I might close it out this weekend because the swap cost on this pair is really, really high. And well, I'll probably keep it open at least until Monday, actually. We'll just see how it goes. But every day that it stays up here, I'm paying swap on this pair. And that really starts to cut into the profit eventually. USD NOK, this one finally started moving down. This one's been open for a while. It was actually open around about here on the 12-hour. Or perhaps lower. These aren't my exact numbers, by the way. I keep forgetting to adjust this to show my exact entry and stuff. I think my entry was more something like this. So it's finally starting to move down, but it's taken quite some time. Actually, I think my entry was up here. And anyway, look, it doesn't matter. I'll adjust this tool to my proper entry and stop loss. I'll remember to do that for the next webinar. But our point is, I got in somewhere roughly in this area, and my stop loss was just above those wicks there because I almost got stopped out. It was a very close call on this one. And my target is around about down here. Sorry, I can't give you exacts. But this one's going well, but it just it's taken such a long time to actually do anything. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this one. It's finally started to move down today. It's finally started to equal those lows that it hit on the 3rd of May. So hopefully it breaks those lows and it drops down towards my target. Right, so what do we have as potentials today? GBPCHF, potential long trade here from support. This one looks pretty decent. The biggest issue with this one is it would be counter to an insanely strong bearish move. So countering those really, really strong moves is usually quite risky. But this is a strong support area down here. We have the 200 moving average below, which is just an extra support area, provides some extra support. So it's a decent potential setup here, a long potential on GBPCHF. Swaps are based on interest rates, so USDCHF is not an exotic, by the way, but swaps are based on interest rates. Well, partly based on interest rates, partly based on how much your broker wants to gouge you. I mean by country's interest rate. My broker, USD NOK, is not as bad. It's based on the country's official interest rate. So it doesn't matter if it's an exotic pair or not. It's just what the interest rates are in the country. But it does vary from broker to broker. Some brokers have higher swap rates on pairs with different interest rates. I'm not explaining this well. So let's say we had USD, let's say the Swiss interest rates were the exact same as Norwegian interest rates, because CHF is Swiss and NOK is Norwegian. So some brokers, regardless of them being the exact same interest rate, will have different swaps. I don't know why. Just they suck, I guess. But generally speaking, most decent brokers are going to base it on what it should be based on, interest rates. And to be fair, I'm being a bit hard on the brokers because it's not always the brokers. It's sometimes the liquidity providers of the brokers. They charge the broker and the broker has to pass the charge on. But as far as I know, most brokers tack a little bit on to that swap rate just because it's extra income for them. But anyway, if you want to keep track of swap rates, just check your broker. I think every trader should read up on them. I mean, it's especially in slow markets, that's when it really starts to affect you, because in slow markets, you're making less pips per trade, essentially. You know, you might be making the same amount of money per pip, but you're making less pips per trade. And swap is essentially going to be charged. The way swap is charged, it's going to take a bigger part of your trade, essentially. Looking for new setups. Actually, I don't think we covered GBPJPY and AUDJPY. GBPJPY is, I think I moved this area up a bit. I'm not sure what I did here. Anyway, GBPJPY is sitting on support. We've been looking at this one since yesterday. It dropped a bit lower than I would have liked yesterday, but it's still on support. It's still around this support area. So I'm still looking for a potential long here from the support area if it stalls out. Similar to GBPCHF, it's a very strong move down. It's not as strong as the GBPCHF move, but it is a strong move down. So countering this is quite risky, but there is potential for a long trade here on the daily, even on the 12-hour, on the 8-hour if you want to. But obviously the lower you go for these kinds of reversals, the riskier the trade gets. And same for GBPCHF. You could trade it on the lower time frames, but again, the lower you go, the riskier it gets. AUDJPY, this one, I mean, price is stalling on support, but it's already pretty far up. It would have been a tough one to get in on. Honestly, I'd prefer if price just drops down a bit further and stalls out on support. So that's what I'm looking for. Right now, it's not doing that. New Zealand USD, nothing much going on there, nor on USD CAD or Euro CAD or New Zealand CAD. Euro AUD has shot up through resistance. GBP New Zealand, oh, this is interesting. It's dropped back into support. It's trending up, drop back down into support. There's potential for a good long trade here in line with the trend. So it would be something like this. Yeah, I'm curious with this one. I want to see what happens here. So I'm going to wait for price to stall out on the support area if it does stall out. So there's potential long here on GBP New Zealand. It would be a reversal or a continuation reversal. Essentially a continuation trade. Euro New Zealand stalling out at resistance. This one's, it's been stalling out for days. I'm not going to do anything here. USDSGD, nothing there. Nor on AUD CAD, it just broke through the support area. We were looking at this one for a potential earlier this week, but it just never really turned into anything because it kept falling. AUDCHF, nothing. AUDUSD, I really need to fix support resistance areas on this pair. I'll do that later. Oh, hey Graham. Didn't see you say hey. Yeah, AUDUSD. I'm not doing anything here. This looks like it's very possibly going to keep falling. It's been trending down for a long time now. There's potential for a short, perhaps, but it's approaching that 68.40 low, which is this is too hard to scroll back. I'm just gonna switch to the monthly chart. Perhaps the weekly would be better in this case. Right, yeah, so there and there. See those 2 points? That was Jan 2016. That was the 31st of December 2018. No, that was oh wait, which one was that? Let's have a look back on the daily. Yeah. That was that spike that we had in Jan. Yeah, so it looks like it's heading back to this support area. That would be interesting if it does. Yeah, I know the elections are on this weekend. Actually, that brings up a good point. I haven't looked at the calendar. Sorry about that. I forgot to do that part. Today we have some Canadian news. It's a speech, so as always, that's something you need to be careful of. BOC Governor Polos is speaking, and we have the parliamentary elections from Australia, which obviously is a big one for the Aussie dollar. Yeah, I think this could continue down, but I don't really see any clear setup here, and I wouldn't want to hold a trade over the weekend at all, given the news. Given the election news, I mean, Euro GBP. We're looking for a potential short here earlier this week also, but it just smashed straight through, so it never triggered. And yeah, nothing on these ones. So what do we have today? We have some of the stranger pairs, some of the more or less traded pairs. GBPCHF stalling out on support for a potential long. GBP New Zealand is trending up. It's dropped back down to support. So there's a potential long here too. I want it to bounce from this support area and continue up in line with this overall bullish trend. AUDJPY stalling out on support. I'd prefer for this one to move down a little bit further. And GBPJPY stalling out on support, so potential long here. It's a bit of a trickier one. Actually, no, it's okay. It's okay. Never mind. GBPJPY stalling out on support. We've been watching this one for since the start of this week, and it just keeps dropping down further. But it's not really closing as indecision, so it's not giving us the kind of setup we want to see yet. But what's interesting is today's low equals yesterday's low, so that gives us, it's a sign that price is struggling to drop further, so it's a good sign. As for USD NOK, probably gonna hold on to this as it started to move down. USDCHF probably gonna hold on at least until Monday. We'll just see how it goes. So yeah, guys, is there any questions? All right, cool. So I'm going to call an end to this webinar, guys. Doesn't look like there's any questions, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday's analysis. But obviously for members, I'll see you on the forum before then. So yeah, thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you later.